How's everybody doing today? My name is Ryan Kostrowski. This is Fitness for Everyone, and today we are going to talk about something that I know a lot of you guys hate it. Don't like running. I understand. I've been there. I can remember points in my life when I had absolutely no desire to go running, and I can fully understand why a lot of people out there don't like it. However, let's talk about some ways to make it easier on you. And I know this probably for some of you out there might seem like a far stretch. You might even start liking it. I know that sounds crazy, but I promise you, it gets easier. It really, really does. And there will be a point if you work at it. I know it seems insane, but you'll actually enjoy it a little bit, just a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but just a little bit, I promise you. In the meantime, guys, so if you happen to be new to the station, it's brand new as of right now. I'm going to be focusing really just on fitness and health and some of the more common sense ways to incorporate it into your life that maybe people don't talk about nearly enough. Like the practical side of actually using these things in your everyday life as opposed to just, shooting for the moon. I would love to eat kale for breakfast and, have 3 hours a day that I could focus at the gym on every aspect of what it is I want to do. And I'm sure you guys are in the same boat, but that's not always realistic for where, adult lives end up. If you could click the thumbs up button, any comments that are positive are always constructive criticism is always appreciated. And let's get going, guys. Again, subscribe to the station if you're new to it. Thumbs up is appreciated. A little bit about who I am. Once again, my name is Ryan Kostrowski. I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So if you hate the Green Bay Packers, I am sorry, but I'm not too far from Lambeau Field. I am a 40-year-old father of two, licensed personal trainer. And if you're looking for some fairly priced training, just hit me up on my email down there in the description section. So, goal of the show. Yes, there's plenty of you elite athletes out there that it'd be great to talk to you guys, but really more than anything, I want to work with people who have, what's the best way to frame this? Who have average health and are looking to take the next step up or have really disregarded their health for, at least currently or larger portions of their life and are looking to make some changes in the right direction. It's never too late. I don't think there are very few things in this world outside of maybe dogs and a good sports game or something like that make me as happy. I like seeing people who might be 30, 40, 50, 60, 100, 200 pounds overweight putting the work in. It makes me happy inside. And I do think most people feel the same way. So if that happens to be you and you're stepping into a gym for the first time or walking outside to take a walk or going to go down to the local track or whatever it might be, just know that I believe this to the bottom of my, most people are rooting for you. And we really do want to see positive things for more people out there. So that being said, let's jump into what it is we want to talk about today, guys. And first things first, before we get into any tips, ideas, pros or cons, or anything like that, I have absolutely no reason to lie to you. It does get easier. And what I mean by that is, I was an athlete when I was younger, but I wasn't specifically a runner. I started running a little bit more seriously in my late 20s. So that, I mean, I know I'm 40, so that was a long time ago, but it wasn't that long ago. I can remember going to a place here in Green Bay called Titletown Fitness. And I'd usually stick to, the elliptical or lifting weights or whatever it might be and thinking, hey, I'm going to start doing running as a more incorporated part of my fitness routine. And that first day, just think, like, I got to go a half mile. And it was hard. Like, I remember that was real, real hard. Yesterday I just popped outside, ran 7 miles real quick and came back home. That wasn't too difficult, but that doesn't mean that I can't remember times where that would have been impossible. Like my body would never have been able to do it. It does get easier. And I think a lot of you will be surprised how much easier it gets and how much quicker if you're willing to put the work in. If you haven't run like ever or like in 5, 10 years and you think you want to just hop outside and run 5 miles, you are going to hurt the next day and it may not get easier because you may never go back to it. But if you do it the right way and you ease yourself back into it and you put in the work, I have absolutely nothing here to lie to you about this. It will get easier, I promise. You just got to stick with it for just a little bit. And every time you get out there and run a little bit, it'll get simpler and simpler and you will feel better. You will sleep better. And there's just a whole other, mess of positive health benefits that you get out of it. Work hard, get past the hate. And if you can get past that hate, you'll either at least hate it less or you might even start to like it. All right, next up. So one of the other great parts about running is like legit, all you need is shoes, right? Like you don't need a gym membership. You can run at the gym if you do have a membership, of course. You don't need to go anywhere. For most people, you can just hop outside of your house or apartment and just get on the streets and start running. So that is a nice part about it. There's a million different exercise routines out there that require gym memberships, that require memberships to specific health clubs, that require a lot of equipment. And not everybody has a lot of money. What you do have is a pair of tennis shoes for most of you. And if you have to go out and buy a new pair of tennis shoes, so be it. Shoes don't have to be crazy expensive. As a middle-aged white guy with two kids, I am bound by the law and legally required to wear New Balance shoes if you study the outerwear of middle-aged white guys. But I've always had good luck with New Balances. I'm only half joking about that. They're very, very affordable. They last a while. They're comfortable and fit the arch of my feet well, but that's not going to be for everybody necessarily. Maybe you're a little bit more fashion forward, or perhaps maybe like the larger arch. Like I've never found Nikes to be overly comfortable for me. Every pair of Nikes I've ever bought has a larger arch than my foot has, so it just isn't super comfortable. New Balance is comfortable for me. That's a decision for you, but the whole point is like you don't need to spend money to go outside and go running. Legitimately, all you need is a pair of tennis shoes, a pair of shorts or workout pants, and you are good to go. Next up, this is another point that I find gets ignored or just not brought up a lot. Like I'll watch fitness videos on YouTube or online about all the different things that you can go into it, but most of us, or at least a lot of us, we don't have hours available every single day. We would love it if we did, but a lot of us are going to be adults. We're busy. You got kids, dogs, significant others, work, and all the things that go along with it. There's just not a lot of time. However, running is really, really easy on your time. Just think about it right now. I could click end on this video. I could run upstairs, grab a pair of socks, throw on my shoes. I could hop outside, run 3-4 miles or whatever it might be, get home, hop in the shower, and legit be dressed in about an hour. That doesn't work for most workouts. If you have to go to a gym, there's the driving times that go along with it. You're going to be changing when you're going to be getting there. A class is usually going to be at least an hour long. Then you might want to do something else on top of it. Like it's not time sensitive. And I know a lot of you guys are going to have very, very busy schedules. And another thing, even if you just have no time that day, just none, just the entire day is busy, it doesn't take that long. And whether you want to do this when you get done with work, late at night, in the morning, let's just say hypothetically, you got to be at the office by 8 o'clock and you got to get out of your house by 7:30. Like wake up 20 minutes early, throw on your tennis shoes, go outside, run 1 or 2 miles. I try to get to at least 2 so I can get, closer to 20 minutes of cardio in, run them fast, get that heartbeat up. And that would be something that's advantageous for you on the day. Also, it will help you not to fall out of your routine. I know there's just a buttload of people out there that they've done the same cycle throughout their life. They're very good about exercise and working out. Something happens, the routine goes away, the workouts become sporadic, and then they become non-existent. Having done that a dozen times throughout my life myself, I completely understand how that happens. Maybe you don't have time to get to the gym today. Maybe work is just crazy for 2 weeks. Maybe your kids are sick, whatever it might be. But it's very, very short periods of time. Get outside, run a mile, take 8 minutes, 9 minutes, go out there and just give it whatever you have for those 10 minutes to at least get that little bit of adrenaline rolling for the day, to get the heartbeat up so that it makes it harder for you to fall out of that routine. For me, that's been a trigger of mine for a long time, which is where I know, like for me, it's been back issues. Like my back will go out and I'll be out of commission for, 10 days or something like that. And then that means I'm not at the gym for 10 days. And 10 days turns into 6 months. And I've put on 10 to 15 pounds. I'm just in significantly worse shape. I know that story is going to hit home with at least one person who can probably relate to a situation like that. But running is easy on the time, which is really, really big for a lot of grownups. Okay. Now that we've gotten through a couple of the essentials, let's just talk about a couple of tips that are these work for me, but everybody's different. So you're going to have to find that works for you. Listen to other people, maybe what works for them. There's going to be a variety of things that you can incorporate into your running routine and just see what works for you. For me specifically, we'll get into some of the cons of running here in a moment, but one of the big ones is it's hard on your joints, right? Knees, ankles, shins, whatever it might be. It's not easy on those things. You are giving them just the slightest little bit of abuse. There's overall more positive running effects or health benefits to running, but it doesn't mean it doesn't come without some cons. So for me, I don't usually run 2 days in a row. I try to focus more on maybe like weightlifting, something like that on the other days. I might play some basketball or take a walk or whatever it might be, but I try not to do, especially if I'm going for like 5 miles or more, I try not to run 2 days in a row. So again, your body might be different. You might be younger. I'm kind of an older man, so it's going to be a little bit different for everybody. But for me, I try not to run 2 days in a row. Next up, so to make this more enjoyable, I don't know which neighborhood you all live in because everybody's different. We all live in different places. I live in a very suburban type of neighborhood. It's not the end of the world to go running around here, but it's a little bit boring. I've really found it enjoyable over the last 5 years to get to know the city of Green Bay a lot better. We have a river that runs right down the middle of the city. There's a nice long running path that just runs along the river. You go in and out of downtown. There's just more nature portions. I love going down there. We got other trails around here. Explore your city a little bit. It'll become more fun. I promise. It is more fun to go run someplace with good scenery, whether there's good people watching, good nature. If you're a dog lover like me, maybe there's a bunch of people with really cool dogs out there that you might get excited about. I'm a little over enthusiastic about dogs if you haven't caught on by now. So that's one's going to be maybe more for me than for everybody. But go out, check out your town, wherever it might be. Find some of these running paths. It'll make it more fun. Also, if you are brand new to the world of running, the other thing that might offer for you is you're going to avoid hills oftentimes when you take running paths. And while as you get into better shape, I would encourage running on hills. At first, it might be much easier and make you more likely to continue. My friend Emily and my friend Eric, they bought a house, and it's like 2 miles west of me. And when they first bought it, they didn't realize like every portion of their neighborhood is surrounded by hills. Like the first day out there, I remember Emily telling me, she's like, why didn't you, because I know the neighborhood pretty well because I used to live close to there. She's like, why didn't you tell me it's nothing but hills around here if it sucks for running? And it does. If you're in good shape, I encourage taking those hills, but especially if you're new to it, they are the kind of thing that they are such a kick in the crotch. They may talk you out of like sticking with it. So if you're getting back into shape or really just picking up running for the first time, that is the other benefit of a running path is avoiding those hills. All right, next up, get something to listen to. I'm sure most of you guys know that by now, but music, podcast, or Netflix. Now, you're not going to watch Netflix when you're running outside because you're probably not going to hold your phone. But for a lot of people who hate running on treadmills, which I completely understand, most of us have smartphones these days. Download the Netflix app or Amazon or Hulu, whatever it might be. And depending how long you're going to be running for me, if I'm running on a treadmill, I will throw on a show. This is typically when I like to watch, an action movie or a show that might have, some cool fight scenes to get me a little amped up to keep running. It works like a charm for me if I'm running on a treadmill. Clearly, that is not going to work for you while you're trying to run because you're not going to hold your phone up while you're trying to run. That's just silly. However, when you're outside and running on a path, try a podcast and try music and just figure out which one's better for you. Like for me, I still like music if I'm running outside, but I definitely have friends who have told me or other people that, I might work out with that a podcast works for them way better than music. To each his own, right? Whatever works for you is going to be better, but give them both a whirl. If you are entertained and not only thinking about what it is that you are doing, which is, generally just moving one foot in front of the other, it's going to make the whole situation a little bit more enjoyable for you. Next up, if you're new to running or you're getting back into it, I'm a firm believer of raise it up incrementally. I kind of mentioned in my late 20s when I just started to pick up running, that first day I ran half mile, and it was hard. Like it was really hard. But the day after that, or 2 days after that, went, 3/4 of a mile. Then I went a mile, and I just upped her 1/4 of a mile every single time until I could run, like a 5K. Now, if you used to be a marathon runner, I don't need to tell you anything, but hypothetically speaking, you would be going at much bigger increments. For me, having gone and fallen out and out of the routine before, I might start out at 2 miles and then raise it a half mile every single time that I go. But raise her up incrementally, challenge yourself, keep going further each time. And don't overdo it the first time, because while it's great to kick your own butt a little bit, like don't talk yourself out of going again because your body's too sore and you give up on it too quick. For me, when I'm running on a treadmill, when I live in Wisconsin, it can be cold as hell out here in the wintertime, and that's when the gym is more appropriate. I've found something else that works for me. I raise my speed like every 1/4 mile. So if I know I'm going to run 5 miles, I might start slower at like 5.5. And then every 1/4 mile, raise it to a 5.6, 5.7, 5.8. And then I barely notice that I'm going faster. By at the end, I'm going 7 miles an hour. But I don't feel like if I start at 7, I'm worn out very, very quickly. But if I raise it incrementally as I go, I found the workout to be a lot easier. I've encouraged other people to try it. They all seem to like it. But again, to each his own. You know your body, you know what works for you. All right, another thing that I'm a firm believer in: give it everything you have at the end. I think this is almost like the character shaping portion of the run. And again, this is going to be adjusted for who you are. You know, if you're a marathon runner versus somebody who's never run before, he's going to be substantially different. But let's say I'm out on a 5-mile run. That last half mile, I'm really trying to up my speed. And that last like 0.2 of a mile, I'm going to flat out sprint. I love to finish with a fury. I just think that's the part where you really, really tax your lungs a little bit and tax your insides. And it just makes the experience, the challenge at the end. I don't even know how to necessarily put it into words, but I am a firm believer in give it everything you got at the end of the run, whether that is a dead out sprint or just a little bit that you have left to give, but give it all. All right, last point. Again, this is barring injury. If you turn your ankle, I understand stopping, but don't ever just hop out and run with no clue how far it is your plan to go. Because if you don't, you will generally just go a lot less than you could go because, oh, I'm starting to feel a little bit tired. I'm going to stop right now. It's okay to go farther, of course, but always set a goal. And if you go out to run 3 miles that day, don't give up. The human body can take a lot more than you might give it credit for. But barring injury, of course, or if you think you're going to pass out through heat exhaustion or something like that, set a goal and make sure you finish it. There's a very, very famous race here in the Green Bay area called the Bellin Run. It's a 10K. You got to have that little voice in your head that doesn't allow you to give up goals, that allow you to get better at something like this. This year was probably about 5 years ago, and it was legit like 85 degrees when the run started in the morning. This whole course has no like shade on it at all. It's all sun. And I can remember the sun beating down on me at mile 4 and just wanting to give up. But that little voice inside of my head being like, dude, you're going to hate yourself if you don't finish right now. If you got a goal, finish it. It's really, really important for the mental and the physical growth inside, you know, whether it's inside your mind or inside your body. All right, let's keep moving along. Okay, once again, I'm a big proponent of knowing your goals and what it is that you are trying to accomplish. I like running, but I'm also not looking to be a bodybuilder. If it is your goal to accumulate mass and really put on a lot of muscle mass, it's probably not a good idea for you to be consistently distance running. You're going to burn too many calories that you just need for other aspects of your workout. So again, you should know what it is you're trying to accomplish. And if your goal is to burn fat, hey, running is a great exercise. But if it's your goal to get super, super ripped and muscular, you don't want to overdo it on distance running by any stretch of the imagination. You know, you're training for a marathon, guys. There is a lot of great information out there. Hop on the old Google machine and just, you know, Google training for a marathon. There's going to be a million articles out there that can help you with that. What it comes down to a lot of times, though, is, you know, what's sexy to you? What do you want out of your body? For me, when I was, you know, again, when I started running about 10 years ago more consistently, I was able to put on mass at a younger age. So like shoulders and arms and stuff like that hasn't really ever been an issue for me. However, got a little bit of that dad bod rolling and I wanted to slim down the old core. Running is great for fat burning. What it will do to your body is a lot more appealing to me now at the age of 40 than it was when I was, say, 18, you know, and you want to have bigger muscles. I don't care about that as much now that I'm older. Yes, you still want to have muscles, but you got to know what's sexy for you. What do you want to look like, man? And if you want to be like Jack, like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in the day, you're probably not going to spend a lot of time on your distance running. All right, some more pros of running. Kind of touched on this sporadically throughout this, but it's great for burning fat and losing weight. You're going to lose approximately double the calories you are as walking. I shit you not, man. Like the weight just falls off if you start running. It's not just while you're running that you're burning weight. What it does for your metabolism is huge. I mean, look at this last point, guys. If you're running consistently, I mean, like putting in good runs several times a week, not that you should eat whatever you want, but like legit, I kind of feel like I can eat whatever I want when I'm running higher amounts more consistently because, you know, your metabolism and the calories you're burning while you're out there, it's huge. It's amazing. So what's it going to do for your body? I mean, your calves and thighs are going to get real toned. So if you are running consistently and you like to wear shorts and you want those calves to be popping, it's great for the tone of your exercise. Go do some leg lifts, work on it between that, get those calves popping, going to look real nicely. Your stomach and your booty will be the envy of your friends, no doubt about it. It is great for the core. You want to get abs. It starts one in the kitchen, right? Where you can't be putting in the wrong calories too often. But your stomach and butt will look great if you are running consistently. The other thing right here is you're going to sleep like a champion. On days where I take longer runs, I sleep amazing that night. It'll work on your stress. It'll absolutely knock you out. For me, I get restless very easy. One of the reasons exercise has always been easier for me is I'm easily restless and I just need to move around. I've been doing push-ups and crunches during quarantine just because I feel like a prison inmate in solitary. But longer runs will allow you to sleep like a champion. For me, I find I drink a lot less alcohol when I'm running consistently. Not that you don't still have the occasional drink and want to go out and have fun and stuff like that, but I'm not restless and bored at the end of the night. I feel tired. I want to get to bed in a timely fashion. I also I feel motivated to get up in the morning again and go out there and try to kick ass again. So it'll have some extra positive benefits to your health that you really wouldn't think about. A better sex life. You're gonna feel better. You're gonna look better. If you're a single person, you can attract, probably other partners that maybe are into running. All the things that go along with it. You're going to feel like a champ. Runner's high is legit. And for me, I'm a vain guy, obviously. I probably wouldn't be on here talking about this if I wasn't. Yesterday, when I was out running, I ran by this couple, and this guy, was a little bigger of a guy. Good for him for being out for a walk, because I know they walked at least 5 miles because I caught him both ways. And both times I passed him, he's like, he's clapping. He's like, "You're doing a great job, man." He goes, "I aspire to be like you." And he was hilarious the way that he said it. So that helped too, because it gave me a little laugh through the monotony of a longer run. But it feels good when people notice the work that you're putting in. When you are out driving around, walking around, whatever it might be, when you see somebody running, isn't there always a small part of you that's like, man, good for that person, right? Good for them to be out there putting, and doing the work. Now, not every time I go running does somebody yell something like that at me, but it happens. And it feels good. It's good for the self-esteem. It really, really is. I was running in downtown Green Bay last summer, and I just remember this guy pointing out to me "Hey, man, we see you, man, putting in the work." And again, I rode that kind of self-esteem and emotional high for a few hours that day. It felt nice. So those are a couple little extra things that they're good for the self-esteem. All right, so what are some of the cons about running? It's hard on your joints. And again, I kind of mentioned this. I won't almost ever run 2 days in a row, unless I've slacked for a couple weeks and I get out one day and I run a mile and a half, and I know I wasn't too hard on my joints the day before, but I rarely run 2 days in a row. I found I don't really have joint issues. Shin splints, not that I've ever really had shin splints. That hasn't been an issue for me, but joint issues, if I take a day off in between. Now, you might need two, you might not need a day. This is key about knowing your body and what goes into it. But for me, I need about a day off in between. It's not the best workout for those of you trying to accumulate mass in the good way, not like Mac from It's Always Sunny. But if you're truly trying to accumulate mass and get really, really large, you probably know this already, but it's not going to be the greatest workout for you. You're going to burn too many calories that you're going to need for increasing muscle. Shin splints are very often a byproduct of running. Not a specific issue I've had, so I don't really know how they feel, but I've heard they hurt. I don't want them. I've heard they don't feel good. So it is another issue that sometimes runners can get, our shin splints. So it's also why I'm a proponent of usually taking a day off, especially if you're running longer distances. And ladies, I did look this up before coming on here. Not an issue I have because I'm not a lady, but occasionally running can cause your breast to decrease in size or sag a little bit. So again, that wasn't something I actually knew, but I wanted to read a couple actual scientific articles before just coming on here and giving my 2 cents on this situation. All right, so kind of last up, a couple of final points. One, it's not even up here, but guys, just get started. Just go out and do it. I would love nothing more that whether it's today, tomorrow, or 5 years down the road when this video is still on YouTube and somebody runs across it, to find out that this video motivated somebody to go out and start running or get back into it after having not done it for a while. Looking for motivation, set a goal. Run a 5K with your friends. You're fine at running 5Ks, want to go to the next one? Run a 10K. After that, run a half marathon. That's a goal of mine this summer. I've never actually run a half marathon before. I did Tough Mudder a couple years ago. Well, yeah, it was 7 years ago now, which is 13, but you have obstacles in between. So I want to run a half marathon this summer. It won't take forever to get ready for something like that, but for me, that's an extra goal. I ran 7 miles yesterday. I feel like I got to do a couple more of those so I can comfortably run 13 miles a day. Join a running club. If you're a single person looking to meet, what you find to be attractive people, find other people that are out there, putting in the work. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use running as almost like a social type of thing as well. So, find some friends that will help motivate you. If you don't have any friends that like to go running, like I said, join a running club, make some new friends. New friends are never a bad thing. All right, again, running is amazing for stress relief. And while a lot of other workouts, there's a lot more that goes into it. Running is super simplistic, right? Like it's just one foot in front of the other. It's easy to do. Just get out there, pound the pavement a little bit, feel the stress, kind of just run away. It's going to help more than you even realize. The exercise and the endorphin rush and everything like that, but you're going to feel better about yourself. I had a conversation with my sister a couple of years ago where we were talking about just like the overall, shape of other people's bodies. And she was firmly taking the position of, being attracted to dad bod and stuff like that. Christy, if you're listening to this, you probably remember that conversation on the way back there. And she made a point. She goes, you know what? I hate to ever say that you're right. She goes, but I'm going to give you this one. She goes, there's something super, super, just sexy about the confidence that comes with people who, hit the gym a lot or go running a lot. Like it's almost irreplaceable. And I think running will be great for your confidence as well as your stress relief. All right, next up, I like pizza and whiskey as much as the next person. And they are great ways to feel really quick points of pleasure. But a nice, good, long run, you will get more long-term pleasure out of something like that. That doesn't mean you should eliminate pizza and whiskey or beer or whatever it is that you like to eat or drink. But doing things like that, going out and running or hitting the gym, I mean, the long-term positive effects on your feelings about how you feel are going to be a lot longer. So it might be hard to tell yourself that, because don't get me wrong, I'm happy when I'm eating a slice of pizza. But I'm a lot happier too when I got out and hit the trails out there. Again, the weight will fall off. It's not just the fat you're burning while you're running, but the effects on your metabolism throughout the day are amazing. Like I said, you can literally eat whatever you want. I had a big meal of Mexican food Friday night, so it wasn't the greatest fuel for running the next day, but I don't feel guilty about what I ate because I know that the run that I took yesterday lost every single calorie that I gained during that meal plus some. So it allows you, like, if you like to pig out occasionally, which again, I totally understand because I can eat with the best of them, dropping 1,300 calories in an afternoon will allow you to go out and eat whatever it is you want from time to time. Last point, I'll let you guys go for the day. Get outside. If you live in the Midwest like me or, the New England or the Pacific Northwest, and it's cold a lot of the year, it's a great opportunity to explore your city in the summer. Bring your dog if you have one. Be a good example for your kids. One thing that I'll tell you that I think my parents did right, like every night after dinner, it was time to either take a walk, get on the exercise bike. My dad was big into running and cross country skiing. Like I just grew up with that. So for me, like getting into exercise was just part of life. And, having friends and other people that I know who didn't grow up with that kind of influence around, they might be in their 20s, the first time they ever really considered working out. That just wasn't a part of their life. So, if you're somebody with young kids, they learn by example. So I could think about some of the terrible things I probably do that I'm not being a great example for my kids, but it does make me happy to think that, like, they see dad going outside most days to go biking, to go running. They see dad on the floor doing sit-ups while watching TV instead of just sitting there and things like that. You can be a really good influence because they pick up on what it is that you do, and you can be a positive influence on their life. All right, guys, if you can, hit the thumbs up button. I appreciate y'all sticking with me, which I'm assuming had to be at least 20 minutes by now. But have yourself a good one. Do it. Go outside. Just start running. There's no other way to get out and just start doing it. All right, guys, have a good one. Thank you very much.